Okay, I am doing this video right now because I needed to put a few words of my own on the video that was done sometime a few days ago about Neil deGrasse Tyson and Humane Hancock talking about veganism. And first of all, I like to point out Neil picked like a really bad vegan to debate because he's not really what I would call vegan. He is for rights of all beings, no matter in what situation they are, no matter in what environment they are. And it's ridiculous because veganism is not about the rights of wildlife. There's the law of the wild and the law of society. You cannot have compassion in the law of the wild because if you do, you kill the wild. Um, I, one of the things that really bothered me is when they say that oh, nature is a bad mother. I mean, really, nature a bad mother? If nature was compassionate and cared about everybody that's alive, we would not be here right now. How is it that people don't understand natural selection? Natural selection happens because life is a sacrifice. Life is a sacrifice. The fittest survive. The one who's not fitted dies. Okay, that's how species are born. That's how environments, species go to environment, and it's a competition of who's the best. The best is the one that breeds. The ones that breed is the ones that pass on their genes to the next generation, and then they change. We have the incredible diversity that we have, incredible diversity that we have today. We have it because of the sacrifice of life, because some of us had to be sacrificed for the good ones, the ones that are fitted to a certain environment to survive. And that develops different kinds of species, different kinds of styles of thinking, different kinds of ways of living, you know? And that enriches biology, that enriches consciousness, it enriches awareness, you know? In even though science keeps saying that certain animals are not self-aware, like a fish is not self-aware, or you have to have big brains to be self-aware, that is bullshit. In fact, one of the things that was born before anything else in an animal who's sentient was self-awareness. It has to be, because without self-awareness, how in the world are you going to take care of yourself? How in the world are you going to fight for your rights in a competitive society or a competitive environment where other fish steal your food? No, you have to set up boundaries. This is my territory. And when if some animal wants to kill you, you know, you fight back. Why? Because you're conscious that you are alive. You're conscious that you're going to lose your life, and you fight more for your survival. I send many people, vegan and anti-vegan, this little video about this fish that is another bigger fish. I think it's a goby, and another bigger goby took half of the territorial grounds of him, and he gets really angry, and he gets spiteful, and he started taking a bunch of pebbles in his mouth and just dropping it at the area of the territorial ground where the other goby is, and he's building a home of his own. He's throwing the rocks. He's making a cave and throwing rocks from inside the cave to the outside. And he comes back and throws those rocks and those pebbles. He takes them in the mouth and just drops those pebbles inside the home of the goby. So he had to do extra work and take him out again. You know, that is life. Life has to be self-aware because you get angry about other creatures being in your territory and you have to defend your territory. This is my territory. You know, you have to be self-aware. My territory. You are aware that that belongs to you. You can't have anybody else taking it. You know, and we have also experiments have been proven that mice have jealousy. Well, you cannot have jealousy without self-awareness. You cannot also have empathy. Empathy is definitely not only self-awareness, but it is a complex level of self-awareness where you imagine yourself on somebody else, in somebody else, and you feel for that being. Mice have that. We improve my experiments all the time. So self-awareness is something that is everywhere. The only Kakamemi theory that exists that try to prove that differently is the mirror image. Well, oh, you cannot recognize yourself in the mirror, therefore you are not self-aware. That is absolute bullshit. And I believe that the scientists who created that also made it, also thought it's bullshit. The thing is about this, science is not an independent entity. Science is together with industry. They are in bed together with industry. And because of that, if industry said, you can't say that because it's against industry, guess what? Science cannot say it. So you can pretty guess which industries don't want people to know that cows are self-aware and pigs are self-aware, because they are. Chickens are self-aware, they are. They have all the emotions of a self-aware being. Okay? So they have to be self-aware. But this stupid little theory of the mirror image, well, imagine if you don't understand reflections, okay? You don't understand reflections, and you see your reflection in the mirror, you're not gonna think that, hey, that's me in the mirror. No, how could it be you when you are right here? Therefore, that must be somebody else imitating you, and you get angry at that. You get angry at that person, And this theory was criticized by major comedy comedy shows like The Simpsons and Family Guy and many other comedies, because it's silly. It is silly. You can say you're not self-aware because you cannot recognize that that image over there is you, because you are right here. So therefore, that must be somebody else. When it comes to cats, it takes cats 2 years, okay, so they can get a certain part of their brains that understand that a mirror image is a reflection, okay? Now in gorillas, it takes them days to understand. Some gorillas takes them days to understand the mirror image is themselves. They keep looking at themselves going like this, and they get frustrated. Why is that guy doing the same exact thing that I'm doing? And they just can't get it for a very long time. But eventually they do get it. Now, once they do get it, does it mean that all of a sudden they became self-aware? No. They have been self-aware all along. It's just that now they go, oh, that is actually me. That's a reflection. But it's very difficult for them to understand reflection, because the mind, here's the thing about the human brain, any type of brain, human brain or not, all brains in this planet did not evolve to see reality. Get that again. The brain is not an organ to understand reality. The brain is an organ to understand certain factors of cause and effect within the environment, okay, that helps your survival, so you can make the right decisions to survive. It wasn't meant to be an organ to understand reality, okay? When a gazelle sees a lion and it's coming at her, and she knows it's speeding, you go, oh, the lion is speeding towards me. I have to go because look how fast it's going, okay? So she knows, okay, what speed is. It's going faster, all right? Coming at you. But does she actually knows what speed is? Does she knows actually say, oh, that lion is collapsing relative time space at a very fast manner, so therefore I must collapse relative time space as well. No, they don't understand time space, or the collapse of it. I mean, we shouldn't even understand that. It's a few of us weirdos like me who actually understand that. But the majority of us don't even understand what gravity is. We don't understand that gravity is the process of acceleration created by the distortion of relative time space bestowed upon by matter. Nobody understands. What is that? What? No. We are not meant to understand that. It is not supposed to help us survive. We understand the fact that when something is big, something is small, you need more powerful. When something falls out from the sky, like a tree or something, an animal understands that the bigger the object, the more harmful it's gonna do to you, especially by the way it moves. So when you see rocks going downhill and they're coming towards you, and you are a ram, you get the fuck out of there. You understand that that thing is gonna kill you because it's you understand that it's heavy. But the noses make the brain have understood that because of natural selection. Because those who couldn't understand that, they they couldn't breathe. They stay there and they die. So the brain is an organ that is not meant for you to see reality. It's meant for you to understand the perspective of reality that helps you survive. That's what the brain is. It is not a reality organ. So, anyways, because of that, some animals cannot understand what reflection is. And I believe, it's my own theory, I believe that the majority of animals who are don't go to the pond to drink water, those are the ones that have the least amount of ability to understand, their image in the mirror. Because some animals, I bet some animals are more intelligent than others. I bet there are some animals that are dumber than others, and those dumber animals are able to understand themselves in the mirror better than other animals that are even smarter. Because I think, it's just my theory, I think that it has to do with the brain understanding reflections. So if you are a creature who goes to the pond a lot to drink water, you see your reflection and you know what a reflection is. So you are adapted for that specific type of reality, so you understand it. However, if you're not adapted to that specific type of reality, you can eventually understand it. You can eventually understand it. You will think it's weird, but you will eventually understand it. That's a reflection. Okay, so the brain is not meant to see reality. So some brains understand certain things that other brains don't, depending on the type of the environment that they are. And reflections is something that mirrors, you don't see any mirrors in nature. They don't exist. Okay, you see reflections like in the pond, and I bet some animals, like I said, some animals that are familiar with reflections in ponds are easier for them to understand reflections. So, like for example, I know that cats understand reflections very fast after they reach a certain age, like about 2 years um, of age. They already know what a reflection is. The only problem is, I don't know why, but they don't like to see the reflection in the mirror, and they always, every time I put a cat in that knows the reflection in the mirror, to see himself or herself in the mirror, they quickly go like, and they try to pretend they're not watching. Once they know it's their own image, they don't want to look at themselves in the mirror. It's like when I was a little kid, I used to when I was a little kid, and I saw my first video of myself. It was a birthday, and they took a movie of me blowing the candles. And when I saw myself blowing the candles after the movie was developed, because at that time it was like 19, I think it was 1965, 66, something like that. Anyways, when I saw myself in the movie, I started crying. I started crying because I saw, oh my God, I that's me. I didn't want to see myself. I started crying. I thought it was so weird. I thought it was so terrible. It was strange. So I started crying, and my mother had to stop the movie. Just stop. He doesn't like to see himself. And that's kind of like it reminds me when cats see themselves in the mirror, and they just avoid it. Once they know it's themselves, they avoid it. When they don't know it's themselves, they know it's another cat, then they start, they get interested in trying to find out who it is. Sometimes even hissing, but But anyways, yeah, so that's how the brain is. So now that I explained that, I hope I didn't take such a long time explaining things like that. When it comes to Neil deGrasse, one of the things that I really hate is when they say that nature was a bad mother, and nature is not a bad mother. There, sacrifice have to be made in order for species to evolve. In order for when I see so many amazing creatures on this planet, I go, oh my God, it's absolutely amazing. The colors, the way they think, the way they fly, you know, and to me, okay, this is my own opinion. Okay, when you look at the universe is something that it came out of something very simple. It is like this is I know science has a lot of things that tries to make logic very unspiritual. And I think that when I see science, I see that matter, space, time, evolution, life, awareness is something incredibly spiritual to me. Taking into understand the factor, the amazing factor, because this is the most incredible, amazing factor about reality is that it started very simple. It's like before anything there was nothing but simplicity, and somehow that simplicity just started to shake, started to evolve, and even though it became complex, when you really look at complexity through a microscope, okay, and you go into the atoms, you find that all that complexity around us actually came from the same simple structure. So it's a simple structure that divided in different ways has different kinds of vibrations, different kinds of perspectives that it puts itself into. And by putting itself into different perspectives, vibrating different vibrations, having different uh, amounts of the same stuff that others have, but a different way, and having different ways of moving that same stuff. It's like the universe is like you're in an island and somebody gives you a potato, all right? And that's the only thing you can do. You have been eating potatoes for years and years. Go, I can't stand potatoes anymore. I am sick of potatoes. I am sick and tired of eating potatoes. You know, so you create something. Okay, I'm gonna do something else with these potatoes. Okay, and you chop them in a certain way, and you find little spices around the island, anything, and you just mix them with that, and you try to put different color on it, and you try to make it into different shapes, and you try to just smash the potatoes and just brown them on top and not the bottom, or smash the potato then brown them and then just chop them up and make them in tiny little pieces like the spaghetti, and you eventually get so incredibly good at making potatoes that potatoes taste differently, they look differently, they smell differently, and everything that you create now, all those amazing thousands of dishes that you create now because you are an expert in potato making dishes, all come from that simple potato. The universe is just like that. When you check out where it came from, it's everything is so simple, simplicity. And the thing about it is that we are not allowed to know because the illusion of biology that made our brains, because we are not allowed to see reality, we're allowed to see the perspective of reality. We don't see that behind all that complexity, there's nothing but incredible simplicity. So the thing about it is my opinion to believe that because consciousness is is an equation, same equation, all the creatures on this planet, consciousness is an equation. I think, I think, all right, that there's nothing but one consciousness in this universe and perhaps beyond it. All infinity, all the consciousness in all infinity, billions of beings living different lives all over the place. All of them are actually the same exact consciousness. And they're just living in different bodies. When we look at ourselves, man and woman having sex with each other, having sex with each other, would you imagine if we thought they were actually having sex with ourselves? But that could be the truth, because when you look at the universe, it shows you that things that look complex, when you really look into them, came from the same simple source. Okay, it's one source, one little source. Even though everything looks complex, when you really go down and follow the structure, it gets simpler and simpler and simpler. And then you find out, oh my God, it is like a simple genius. The universe is like a simple genius that started very simple, like the guy in the island with the potato. And he says, I am sick and tired of being so simple. What can I do to make this simplicity, this tiny little simplicity, into a complex array of things and flourish everywhere in so many different ways, colors and shapes and sizes and abilities. And it finally found out how. By different vibrations, different rotations, structures coming together with other structures in different ways. And managing, it's like a dance, and managing all of that and just evolving things in that. And then you come out and go, holy shit, look at this. Holy amazing things that you can do with a potato. You know? And that's what reality is. It's like a potato. So I think that we are not allowed to know by natural selection that consciousness is a singularity. We are not allowed to know. So it's the universe is like that. It doesn't want you. It's an illusion that we're living in. It's a major illusion that we're living in that appears highly complex, but when you check it out and you go down the rabbit hole, you find that everything goes and meets the same exact simple dot where it started. So anyways, what I'm trying to say here, right, I always go off track, is that we, okay, nature is not about mother. She has so many different, okay, 1% of all species today are alive. But if she wasn't the way that she is, there'd be nothing but bacteria in the most simplest form. There'd be no consciousness, no self-awareness, no different ways of seeing reality, to different eyes, to different brains. There would be none of that. None of that would exist today. None of it. Because there wouldn't be a sacrifice. Life has to have sacrifice in order to evolve. It's a dance that keeps going up and keeps, diversing in different branches and keeps growing. It's like a mother who has different kinds of children every day, and she takes care of them and she lets them go. And you have another children, and the other children, oh, look at that, I never had this child before, and you let it go. And those children, well, they live their lives. They live great lives. Sometimes they live for millions of years, but eventually they die because new children have to come out. Always new children have to come out to experience life in a different way. Okay, in a different way that all the children didn't experience before. And for that, you need sacrifice. You need sacrifice. Sacrifice of life is natural selection. And it's terrible. Yeah, it's pain and misery sometimes. But without pain and misery, there is no evolution. There's no diversity. And without pain, there's no enjoyment either, because you wouldn't be here to enjoy anything. Okay, we wouldn't be here to enjoy anything. So anybody who says that nature is a bad mother, oh my God, you don't know anything about cause and effect on nature. Okay, nature is great, it's amazing. When I see nature, I couldn't do any better job. But the thing about it is that we human beings are so narcissistic that we think that we can do better than nature. Okay, why don't we go when we have the time? Okay, when we have the chance to colonize other planets. Okay, let's see if we can do better than her. But let's not mess around with her stuff here because she owns this place. And every time we think we can do better than her, all we do is mess up. I mean big time, like Homer Simpson, like a big dough. Okay, that's what we do all the time. Oh, I think wolves hunting deer is a bad thing. I can't remove them. The dough. That's what we do all the time. Now we have to introduce the wolf back into Yellowstone Park because of all the shit, all the imbalance that we create, damage. Amazing place it was to be, completely damaged because we damaged the order of things. But anyways, so that's one thing that I didn't like for them to agree on, that the fact that nature is a bad mother, she's not. And another thing is that yeah, this goes to Humane Hancock. If you are ever listening to me, plants, okay, plants are not rocks. All right. A rock doesn't care whether it lives or die because it's not a living thing. A plant does care whether it lives or die because it is a living thing. They do care. Plants are not self-aware like animals. Plants are not aware like animals at all. But they do have a biological awareness. They have a biological awareness, the same your body has a biological awareness. When you get attacked in your body and you get attacked by a virus, okay, your body panics. Do you know the panic? Do you feel the panic? Does it get into your brain and go, oh my God, I'm being attacked by a disease? No. If you don't feel any pain and you feel just a little sick, your body is panicking inside you, trying very hard to destroy that pathogen. But you might be watching TV and eating popcorn, okay? But your body is panicking. Plants are like that. Plants are afraid to die in a biological manner. They are afraid to die in a biological manner. I have, like so, I don't know if you see plants behind me, but I grow a lot of plants. I grow orchids and stuff like that. So I know how plants are. Okay. I also know that the most intelligent plant. I'm intrigued about intelligent plants. Okay. I have Venus flytraps. I also have had. I don't have them right now, but I have the seeds are in my refrigerator. I have this plant, which is one of the smartest plants in the world. It's called the telegraph plant. It's called the telegraph plant. All right. The telegraph plant is a plant who has a certain type of awareness in their environment. It is not a sentient being, but it has a certain type of awareness in the environment. When the wind is flowing, they have these two little leaves that are constantly in motion. Okay, they have a big leaf and these two little leaves that are constantly in motion. Okay, and they are constantly searching for whatever environment is happening, especially when they're young. When they're young, their stem is so slim that they need to find out where the wind is coming from. So if the wind is coming, from this way, okay, then the leaves end up pointing that way. So it doesn't go down. If it stays the same, because it has such a slim stem, it might go down and it might die. At least that's my theory why it does that. But it just goes with the wind. It just turns like that. And when it rains, okay, the little leaves tell the plant that it's raining. So the plant goes like it just turns like a little umbrella. I have a little video on it. It just turns into like a little umbrella. All the leaves are placed together on top of each other, and it just turns into a little umbrella. And so it is, it is aware. It is not like a rock. It is not a rock. And when you get like a cactus, right? Cactuses, when they are stressed, when you put cactuses through stress, they begin to deploy a lot of little cactuses all over the place. Little cactuses all over the place. That's because the plant knows biologically that it may die, it starts to put a whole bunch of small ones so that in order to increase its level of survival. Because if the mother plant dies, all these little ones can have better chances of surviving because they can throw their own roots and they can survive that way, right? So you say, oh, so plants are aware and they don't want to die. So why are you a vegan? Well, very simple, okay? You see a plant who doesn't want to die, okay? And you see a cow, all right, who doesn't want to die, all right? And it's an incredible difference. An incredible difference. You can see that the animal is aware. You can see in their eyes that they don't want to die, that something terrifying is about to happen, and they don't want to die, all right? That's why I do that. That's why I'm a vegan. Why am I not against lions or other animals, orcas, killing animals in the wild when they feel like that? Because, like I said, nature has needed sacrifices, and it's terrifying. If I was a being and I was in nature out there, I wouldn't change a thing, even though I could get killed by a shark, and even if I was being killed by a shark as a sea lion, all right, I would probably think, oh, I hate sharks. I never want to see them alive. That's what I would be thinking. But being against something because of your personal views, and then being acting like that God, I'm removing that because of the way you feel, all right, not because of the way things are supposed to be, all right, it's very narcissistic and selfish of you, and it's godlike, because just because you feel that way doesn't make it wrong. It is not wrong. Nature is not wrong. I am not for. I'm not ever going to be fighting for the rights of wildlife. Wildlife has the rights to survive. If you're afraid, you have the right to survive, and you have the right to fight back. Okay? In nature, nobody needs anybody. Nature doesn't need human beings. Okay? They don't need it. In fact, when we get there and try to do things about that, all we do is mess up. Mess up. Okay? All we do is mess up really badly. Okay? So when we get out there trying to fight against nature because we don't like it, we don't like certain things, all we do is mess up big time. And because things are supposed to be that way, right? But in a social structure, that's a different thing. And a social structure is our human social structure, just like a termite social structure. I said that before in my past videos. When a society has compassion and kindness, the amount of corruption goes down. The amount of pain and suffering goes down. The amount of building of a utopia increases in chances. Now, this is a very simple equation. Very simple equation. All right? Barbaric being plus highly advanced technology equals, okay? I think it's a simple equation. What do you think is going to happen? Any kind of animal in the universe, okay, who is barbaric in nature and has a highly advanced highly advanced technological society, okay? So it's a barbarian, highly advanced technological society. Do you think it's a type of being that is going to live long, or is going to eventually destroy itself? Right? That is like, I don't know, putting a machine gun on a monkey that's really angry. Okay? is something that eventually, is going to destroy itself. But a civilized, compassionate, intelligent being who has technological advancements, okay, the chances for that being to survive increase a lot. The chances for that being to create a utopia rather than a dystopia also increases a lot. Okay, and that's all I wanted. Okay, another thing that I wanted to say is about the mouse in the basement thing. You know, as a vegan, if I had a mouse and it was in a basement and it wasn't bothering me, why in the world would I just drop it and take it outside? I will leave it there. Yeah, it'll be fine. But if you're a vegan and you don't like the mouse on the inside your house because it's your house and you can take it outside, if the mouse lives outside in a while, it'll be also fine. It'll be with nature. It would take its chances. It would probably have a better life when it comes to excitement. It will be have danger, more excitement about their lives. He will or she will use their instincts better. Probably find a mate and have more children than if it's inside your basement. So there are good things and bad things about it. But putting the mouse back in the wallet wouldn't be any bad thing. Okay? If you take the mouse, okay, and you put it inside a cage and you fatten them up, okay, and then you chop them up and eat them, then yeah, that's really terrible. That's the major difference right there. I think it's vegan to let the mice either stay inside the house or go outside. I don't see any big deal about it. You know, there are two different lives. One, you can live a simple life. The other one, you can live a more complex life full of danger and excitement and then die sooner. But sometimes life is like that. When you live life in the fast lane, you actually die faster. Rock and roll, rock and roll artists. I mean, need I say more? Rock and roll artists, great life, lots of women, lots of drugs, die young. You're a nerd inside a basement. You don't do anything but look at a computer all the time. You live a long time. That's, I guess, an example of it. But anyways, and when it comes to the trees, yeah, I don't know why that's so different. Yeah, a tree is more important than a mouse, but it's not the tree itself. It's not the tree itself that is important. Okay, it's the cause and effect that surrounds the structure of that being. Okay, that makes it important. The fact that it has it provides food for many creatures, it provides homes for many creatures, so definitely it's more important than one mouse. Now, when it comes to the alien vegetables, the alien plants, okay, the alien plants, I would consider, if I was an alien plant and I was a wise, highly intelligent plant, and I go to a planet and I see these other animals that actually kill their family members, their relatives, okay, like pigs are our relatives and chickens are our relatives, and you know, in Asia people kill dogs, that's our relatives too. Cows are relatives to us, they're mammals, and we just kill them and keep them in tiny cages and you kill them. And I'm an alien plant and I see that, I would be totally shocked about those creatures. Totally shocked. They are actually killing their own kind, and their own kind is sentient. But then I see other creatures over here who decided to kill plants like us. But those plants are not really sentient. They are not sentient like us, self-aware like us. They don't have any feelings. They're not afraid to die. They are just pieces of meat, just like a human being would be a piece of meat without any sentience. So say, well, these creatures appreciate what's the most important about ourselves, which is sentience and self-awareness. Because that's exactly why we're here on this planet, trying to understand you, trying to communicate with you. We are so glad to see you because you are also a sentient being like us, self-aware like us, with emotions like us. So we are interested in you. So I believe that those plants will feel uh, great fear, perhaps, or feel highly uncomfortable about the creatures that kill the animals rather than the creatures that kill the plants, because the plants are non-sentient. Just like if I go to a planet and the planet is a planet full of plants and they are sentient plants, but they kill other relatives, other own kind that are plants too, and they are self-aware, just like themselves. And I see them killing them like that without any mercy, keeping them in tiny little cages and leave them there, or just putting them in a macerate because they are male. And I go, oh my God, you know, get your spaceship, just warm it up and keep it warm just in case, because these creatures are definitely barbarians. They kill their own kind, which is sentient and self-aware just like them. But then I see a group, all right, who actually kills animals, and they kill animals that are non-sentient, like a person in a coma. They kill animals that are non-sentient, and you see them chopping them, and you see them eating them, but you don't see them crying for help, or crying, or even moving. They're just animal cells, but they are not sentient. I say, I go with this group. This group is not a barbaric group. This group is not going to kill me, because they appreciate sentience. They appreciate consciousness. Okay. So that's my feelings about it. Okay. And I just wish that he would have debated a different kind of vegan. I just wish that Neil would have debated a different kind of vegan, because I don't believe that Humane Hancock is actually that much of a vegan. He's a very weak vegan. Anybody who's against nature like he is, and he's close-minded, I don't think he's ever going to change that. And if he's so close-minded, I want close-minded people who pretend to be vegan, and they just teach these theories about hatred and the destruction of certain species because they cause pain to other species. It is something that how could that be peaceful? How could that be humane? Let's keep compassion where it belongs, and it's in our society. The more compassionate society is, the better it is. Okay, if you put compassion in a different system, like in wildlife, it's not going to work. Everything that wildlife has, anything that nature created out there, is needed. And societies are allowed to be compassionate, because look at termites. Look at the way they treat each other. Okay, they are not corrupted when they are told to go to a place and fix a certain area that has been damaged by some animal. Some of them they don't just take a break and leave, and they come back like 2 days later, and the hole's still there. People do that. They don't do that. They are not corrupted. They work together in perfect harmony, and this harmony is something that's missing in humanity, but it's something that humanity will have if it will have the type of compassion, the type of empathy that veganism, actual veganism, promotes. Not those so-called vegans that promote violence towards other animals, who hurt other animals, or try to get rid of other animals, hurt other animals. Speciesism is not veganism. Veganism is to do the best you can to avoid as much as possible and practicable animal exploitation. And that also makes you aware that we also have other types of equalities within humanity itself. And for those people also who think, one last thing for those people who think, oh, we cannot fix animal abuse because humans come first and we must fix us before we fix them. That's not going to happen. If we don't cut the barbarism we have towards other beings, we are never going to cut the barbarism we have against ourselves. Because if we are practicing barbarism with other beings that are sentient and self-aware just like us, how do we expect to actually be able to respect our own sentience, our own self-awareness, and be empathic towards each other when we cannot be empathic to some other being that is also like us? So in a society that we are respecting everyone that's sentient and self-aware, it's a society where people think, oh yeah, that person is black, oh yeah, that person is white, oh yeah, that person is like this, that person is like that. But that person is sentient just like me, has emotions just like me, you know? And you are able to understand and be kinder, okay, to people, not just animals, but people as well. That's what's going to happen. At this particular moment, there are many vegans out there that are people haters, you know? I myself consider myself a people hater. But you know what? I never harm anybody. I never harm anybody, okay? I can recall in years, the only time that I hurt people is when they hurt my feelings first. Then I hurt their feelings, because you know I'm human. I'm human. Everybody's like that. If you're going down the street and somebody hits you, you want to hit them back. Hey, what kind of creep are you? You know. But deep inside, the only reason why I hate humanity is because I see all the horrible things that humanity does. And in a world where human beings no longer do that, vegans are not going to have any resentment to humans. It is like right now. I mean, they criticize so much. Okay, imagine you're not a vegan, but imagine, okay, suppose you hate abortion. Okay, suppose you're living in a state that everybody loves abortion, and everybody talks about having an abortion. Oh, I just had sex today. I'm gonna wait. Let's say I'm gonna wait 2 months, and then I'm gonna have an abortion. Hey, good for you. And you are there, understanding how you feel about abortion. Okay, wouldn't you just hate all those people? Wouldn't you become a human hater because you hate all those people because of what they do to have abortions just like that? They just have sex. They don't have any protection when they have abortion. Oh, I'm gonna wait 2 weeks. I'm gonna wait 3, 4 months, and then just have an abortion. Oh, good for you. You know, you feel terrible, all right, and you will feel terrible about those people, and you will become a human hater, all right, because of your compassion, because of the way you feel about what's going on. Okay, so when you are a mediator and you say, oh, vegans are human haters, understand the reason why they are hating humans, because you will do the same exact thing too. Okay, understand that. Be open-minded and understand how we feel. Plus, understanding in this universe, the illusion of being someone else may be just an illusion. You may be the person you're bothering. You may be the person you're harming. You may be the cow you are destroying. You may be the chicken you're keeping in a cage, because they might just be only one consciousness in this universe, one consciousness. Because by the way the universe got built and the way you see the universe, chances are that's exactly what it is. Consciousness is one equation.